for so long, I was trying to make scripture its own time, making Bible time its own thing. And I have shifted that to doing it at mealtime. So when we sit down with our kids, especially breakfast, my husband's he's busy and he's out the door, which is his schedule. And so it can get kind of chaotic. And so I think especially if you have kids that are going to school, just taking that time, doesn't have to be long, 5 minutes while they're eating cereal, 10 minutes while you're, making some pancakes, but sitting down at the table with them and using that time to break open a devotional, talk about a verse, say a prayer together, kind of mending that with a natural time that people are spending together in the home. I think it's a great way to quote unquote save time and also make that a priority.
Has your husband, has he had fun just doing that with you?
Yeah.
You guys, tell me about the first time.
Yeah, he has, he kind of has a little bit of FOMO. So he's like, well, I want to help out. We have, I'm missing out, you guys. Cause a lot of dads, they spend a lot of time outside of the home and you can feel, I would assume, that you're missing out on so much that's happening, especially when your kids are little and they're home all day. They're not in school yet. So I spend all day with them. So he's like, how can I get involved? Like, I want to help. I want to do that. And so he actually stepped into doing some things with us, and he started his coined Devos with Dad, where he's like, I'm just going to take what I'm learning. I'm going to take what I'm learning in my own Bible time. So it's not even like a kiddie version of something. He's like, I learned this. It's so good. I want to share it with the kids. So now we're just finding a way, how do we make that fun for them? And my kids call him the fun parent anyways. So he's really good at making it fun for them in just a way that they can understand. It doesn't have to be long, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of just like, hey, let's sit together real quick. Let's talk about what God's teaching me. I want to teach you.
So I look forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids, Yes, they love doing that. He kind of like puts them in our kitchen on the counter. I have 3 kids. He lines them all up and he sits them on the counter, and they think that's so fun because they don't get to sit on the counter on like a day-to-day basis. So they're like, oh, Devos with Dad. I'm so excited. Like, what's he going to teach us today? He always
how old is your oldest?
I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an almost 2-year-old. Yeah.
And the 6-year-old on the videos seems...
He's
totally all in.
Yes,
right?
That is my son, my only son. And he is in the all dad phase too. So he's listening and he's retaining. They'll talk about it for days after he's talked about something. Like, oh, remember when Dad said that? So they're listening and they're retaining it. Yeah.
So when you guys started to do that, how did you guys line up together as a couple?
Yeah.
What conversations did you guys have?
We had both been honestly struggling a little bit to put our time with the Lord as a priority in our day. So as our own people, right? We were saying, okay, we need to do this both as individuals, then as a couple. So how are we going to come together in the time with the Lord? What does that look like for us? And it's looked different throughout the years, right? Some prayer time, some actual sit down, read the Bible time together. And then once we kind of felt like, okay, we're on a good track, like, wait a second, we have 3 little disciples here that need to be led. So how are we going to do that with them as well? So it's been a progression, but it really started in that feeling of like a heart check for ourselves. What are we doing? How is our relationship with the Lord? Check that. Move into our marriage, because that has to come before parenting. How does that look like in our marriage? And then move on to, okay, how can we teach our kids in a way that they think isn't boring?
I love that.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever had one where they're not wanting to pay attention at all?
Yeah. There's been
How do you guys handle that? I mean, that's got to be tough.
It has been tough. I will tell you, yeah, there's some bribery involved sometimes. Like, this is important. We want to ingrain in them that it's important, but that it's not this boring thing you have to roll your eyes at. Like, the Lord's word is exciting and it's fun. And that's why we're trying to make it fun for them. But even as myself, sometimes I don't feel like going to the Lord in prayer in quiet time. My heart is just restless, or it's not feeling that. And that happens to our kids too. They're just not feeling it. They are not sitting still. They don't want to listen. Their mind's off in a million different places, and that's okay. We have done some just like, okay, let's all sit together. And then after we're done, like, you can go pick a jelly bean out. They think jelly beans are the best. So it's like something little like that. Yeah, exactly. And if things aren't working how we want it to, instead of leading that to frustration for us, we take a breath. We're like, okay, this is not the time. That's okay. Step away. Let's try again tomorrow. And that's okay too.
That's good.
Yeah.
So many moms are discouraged. There's several out there that just, the days can seem long. Yeah. What would be a word of encouragement that you give a mom?
I've been there and I've been through that season, and I'm sure it'll come again. I think that's just an ebb and flow of life in general.
Yeah.
And so I think that a big part of that is realizing that we aren't alone in that. I think the enemy can be so isolating and telling you like, you're feeling discouraged. That's on you. You're alone. Other moms are doing it better. Other moms are loving their kids better, are loving the Lord better. And that just kind of can set you down this spiral of just like, no, why can't I? Why can't I get there? Why is my heart in this place? That is okay. The Lord meets us there. He knows where our heart is. He knows the desire to meet him, to meet our children in a space that is coming from a heart that is full rather than empty. And so I think that just realizing that you're not alone, because I think that that is also adding to that discouragement, just prayer. You know, no prayer is too simple for the Lord. Just, Lord, I feel so discouraged and I don't want to feel that way. Yeah. Just help me. You know, it doesn't have to be super eloquent or super drawn out, but just a cry of that heart space of just, I don't want to feel this way. Right. And then you're not alone.
Yeah, you must have had people invest in you growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are kind of the key people that invested in you?
Yes. My parents.
To teach that. Yeah, the prayer time.
My parents, 100%. Yep. I'm so blessed. I feel like I didn't really realize as a kid. Now as an adult who's married with kids, both sets of my grandparents know and love the Lord. They are still married. They are 60 plus years into marriage.
What a gift.
Yes. And my parents are following suit as well. I think they just celebrated 31 years of marriage and they know and love the Lord.
Cool.
Knowing they're not perfect, right? Again, as an adult, I can say,
you don't have perfect marriage?
I know.
Man.
Yes, okay. But knowing that, but seeing how much they dedicated to, we know we're not perfect, but we're going to try and model the best we can for our children. I know that my brothers would sentiment that as well, of just that example, right? It's not all just about that sitting down. Like, I think we overcomplicate the example that we want to set for our children by sitting down like, hey, we need to read this many verses and we need to talk about this many subjects and all these things. Right. When really now looking back at my childhood as an adult, way louder than that was the example that was set. And that was without words. That was just actions every day. And that was, now I realize is such a gift.
Yeah, powerful.
Yeah, super powerful.
Yeah, as parents, I remember my son, when we were driving, he said, I don't know, I think he was in 3rd grade.
Okay. Yep.
He said, Dad, I want to be like you. He had said he had wanted to be like Michael Jordan at the time. So he started playing basketball, and then it shifted. He goes, I want to be like you. And I was like, what? Yeah. Like, well, I'm imperfect. Hopefully I point to Jesus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we want to do. Do you notice yourself having to shift a bit for each of the children?
Yes. 100%.
What have you noticed there when your personality? How do you handle the differences? It's
been such an interesting thing to navigate now that my kids are getting a little bit older. I mean, even my 2-year-old, her personality is larger than life, but she's not quite at that same level as my 4 and 6-year-old. You know, they're understanding a lot more. They're asking tough questions. They're getting into that stage. And they're very different. My firstborn is very firstborn and like things black and white. And, you know,
probably asks the toughest questions.
Yes, he does. Yeah. Kids ask some really tough questions. I'm like, you know what? I don't know, but we can ask Jesus. We can go to the Bible. So yes, shifting that. And I also have my oldest is a boy and my middle is a girl. So I think some of those things just come out in that as well. And like I said earlier, my son especially is really leaning towards dad right now. And so we're really leaning into that as well and strengthening that relationship between the two of them. And he's learning all about like integrity and what it means to be a man of God and all these things. My husband's very like, he's not too young to learn this. Let's get it going, you know.
I mean, he's a kid's pastor, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's like, we're going, we're going all in there. So and my daughter is a lot more emotional and soft-hearted and needs a little bit more of that tenderness when it comes to talking about those tough things. So it's been a fun ride just already at their young ages, seeing those personalities come out and how we adjust our parenting, the way we talk to them, the way we teach them to fit their personalities.
That can get challenging.
Yeah.
What's the toughest question you've gotten?
Oh my goodness. We joke, my son, I actually had like a fun little notes in my phone of funny things that he said when he was 3. So now he's 6. But one of the things I just found the other day was that he had asked me, Mom, what do you think God smells like? Does he smell like Jesus or does he smell like cheese? And I was like, where did that come from? So they ask funny questions like that, right? But then also he was asking questions about Noah's Ark and like all the different things, specifics about, well, who ate what and how did they survive? And all of these like really thought out things where for me as an adult, I'm just like, great, Noah's Ark, learned about that. Didn't think twice about who's eating what or how, or they went potty or things like that. And his little mind, he's going there because that's just the logistics of,
and the practicality.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about heaven. That's a whole thing in itself also. And asking, well, when so-and-so goes to heaven, like, can I go visit them? It's like, well, no, you can't. But heaven's also a very real place. So how do we talk about that with our kids has also been a learning curve for my husband and I. Yeah.
That means they're taking it seriously, right? The realness of
they're
it.
Thinking about it.
They want to know, in my world, what does this mean? Yeah. So what would you tell mom that just needs some pointers?
Yeah.
Just starting out and you're going, hey, just keep this in mind. Yeah. What would you tell them?
Absolutely. I think we overcomplicate it when it comes especially to faith, mothering, everything. I think it can be really simple. I think that the Lord has equipped us to be the best parents for the kids that he's gifted us. And I absolutely 100% believe that. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think the biggest thing is just modeling the behaviors that you want to see. That's not just kindness and thoughtfulness, but prayer, modeling prayer. If you feel, I think so many people get hung up on how to say and what to look like while we're praying. And I think it's just, we just show our kids every day that I need the Lord. I can't do this on my own. And I'm just going to be talking to God all day long. I'm going to be saying prayers, not only before dinner, before bed, but like I'm just to have my kids look at me and hear me pray, see me pray like, oh yeah, well, I can do that too, right? I can do that in my own life. And so I think just modeling the behavior you want to see for your children. And if the Lord's working on something in you, sharing that with our kids, there's so many times I've had to apologize to my kids for losing my patience or not using kind words. When I'm constantly trying to teach them that, I have to show them also I'm not perfect. I need the Lord just as much as anybody else. And I also need forgiveness. I need patience. I need kind words. And he's working on that in me just as much as I
patience.
Hope. Yeah.
That's tough for everybody.
It is.
Yeah. I remember a survey that polled parents to see what they struggle with the most, and patience was the highest.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, especially if the little questions all day long and just the
tug.
Yes,
constant
absolutely.
tug and the disobedience that's there.
The Lord's refining that in our hearts.
Then you're tired and all that, right?
Yep, exactly.
What's your favorite thing about being a mom?
Gosh, such a hard question.
What's the favorite? Question. You're going, man.
It's so hard.
I love being a mom.
I think that my kids bring out so much in me that doesn't naturally come out. I'm more introverted. I more keep to myself. Sometimes I can take things a little too seriously. And my kids, again, being little and just kids are funny. They're so funny. The things they say, their ability to just go out and make friends with just a stranger, just have no fear in that. They've taught me so much in that. So just seeing who God has created my kids to be is such a gift in itself. And they have brought out so much in me that I didn't know was in there. And that's also been a huge gift. And just the pure joy of watching them grow into little people has been so cool, because little baby stage is so fun and, just cuddles and love.
I totally miss it.
Exactly. Yeah. But watching them grow up into actual little people that have their own opinions and their own personalities is just like, just can't explain that gift to someone who's not a parent. It's just experiencing it is just a whole new thing.
Yeah. And each stage you miss it.
For sure.
So I'm sure with your son, you're going, man, I remember when he was, when you look at the pictures and you miss their voice and all that as it changes. That's fun. So on the pocket prayers, that's something you absolutely love.
Yeah.
You got the idea from another lady that did pocket
scriptures.
Pocket scriptures. Yes. So from there, the pocket prayers, it makes perfect sense because of, we hold important things in our pocket, and it's the idea is to bring that prayer out throughout the day. You're saying to have that on your mind all day long. What have you seen? What have you seen that do to your kids? In the day to day, what transformation are you noticing? In their mindset and their thoughts as they think about prayer as a conversation all day long?
Right. It's so true what you just said, that we carry important things in our pockets, especially kids. The amount of things that my kids stick in their pockets is just crazy. And it's always something that's important to them in that moment. And so I think that the pocket prayer has made prayer like a tangible thing, even though it's not something we're actually holding. It's so tangible to them. So prayer has become so much more of this, like, it's less elusive. Even as an adult, sometimes I feel like prayer can be a little of this elusive thing, of this thing that's happening, but you can't really see it. And so for them, it's like, that is something that I can say that we've done. I did this with Mom earlier today. It's in my pocket. It's just so much more tangible to them, which especially for kids' little minds is like, oh, like, I have Jesus in my pocket. Like, oh yeah, I've got him with me all day. I can talk to him whenever I want. It's something that is less of an idea and more of something that's actually in their day-to-day life.
That's good.
Yeah.
So how do you and Chance find time for each other?
Good question.
In the busyness with young kids. How do you do that? What do you do?
It is something I talk about this with friends a lot as well. Is like, that is something that you have to fight for in this season of life, at least for us. So easy to fall into the day's busy. We're kind of passing ships and like, I'm so tired. I love you. But like,
it's so important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've really fought for that. And again, seasons we've done it better and other seasons we haven't, but we see the fruit of that when we really do fight for it. A big thing that we do is we put our kids to bed early. Of course, we're not gonna be able to do that forever, but they have an early bedtime and my kids share a room. So they play and they hang out and, you know, they chat, which I think is a gift in itself. We're like, hey, you know what? It's bedtime because Mom and Dad need some time to hang out and we need some time to connect, and they understand and they know that. Yeah. And that is a huge part of our time together, is like, as we wrap up the day with our kids, now we're shifting into, okay, let's connect in a more intentional level of actually chatting. And seasons it has been opening up the Bible, and other seasons like, let's play a game. Like, let's just talk about our day and play a card game. And, but really allowing our kids to see that, like, we love you, but this time is now for Mom and Dad. And so this is why we've built that into our day and why it's important.
As a family, since you have those different ages, do you guys do a board game together that you guys love that crosses all the ages?
Yes, we love board games. I think I always joke, I'm not super great at like make-believe playing toys and stuff. My husband is great at that. He just like shines in the whole make-believe world. I will play games all day long. I love board games. So my 2-year-old's not quite there yet. She likes to pretend and kind of help sit on our laps and play. But we love Sorry. It's such a classic. Sorry, yes, it's our favorite. Even from like a, you know, homeschool mom standpoint of like, it's great for counting and learning and all of these extra things. But aside from that, it's so fun. So we have a really fun time playing that one. My son is so good at it, beats us every time, but it also teaches to win and lose gracefully. So yeah, board games 100%. We love this.
He's the king of Sorry.
He is the king of Sorry. Yes.
You mentioned homeschooling.
Yeah.
Are there any tips that you'd give a homeschool mom that's just starting?
Yeah. I'm just starting too. So I am not like a well-seasoned homeschool mom, but I think something that's helped me that other moms have told me is like, it doesn't have to be that serious. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Like, you meet your children where they're at. That's the beauty of homeschool, is that you pick what's important. And so for us, that is the Bible. That is those principles and learning how to be good people, kind people, people that care about others, and meeting the kids where they're at. So right now, my son, he loves math. He's great at it. And so he feels confident when he does that. So we're doing math all day long.
Do you love math?
No, not at all. I can do kindergarten math. Okay. I cannot, once we get a little further down the road, I'm gonna have to outsource that. Right. But you know, something like reading is a little more frustrating for him. And so he's getting the hang of that. And so just meeting our kids where we're at and not comparing to where other people are doing, what other parents are doing, where other kids are at. But just, that's the beauty of homeschool, is to meet our kids where they are and prioritizing. Yeah, absolutely.